Abdallah.
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 Habdalah. Abdallah. From badal, the word badal, which means to separate or divide. And traditional Judaism has created a ceremony at the end of Sabbath that allows you to break and show the breakage from going from Sabbath to back to the regular weekday. It's a wonderful ceremony. It has spices, it has wine, it has a candle again. Woo-hoo. I love it. Anything with spices and wine, I love it. But
there's no commandment.
There's no commandment to it. I like doing it. It's wonderful, beautiful. And Judaism has many, many beautiful and wonderful traditions. Many beautiful and wonderful traditions. However, we cannot elevate a tradition to the status of commandment. It's okay to do them. It's okay to participate.
As long as they don't conflict with Scripture.
As long as they don't conflict with Scripture. As long as there's no confliction. And there's no confliction with lighting a Sabbath candle. I'm just making the point that we have to get back to, we've had thousands and thousands and thousands of commandments added to this text by traditional rabbinic Judaism. And what's happened is no one can even see the forest for the trees anymore.
So basically, are we just supposed to set it aside and make sure it's holy, and if we don't do all the prayers and light candles and do all that stuff, as long as we're keeping it holy and not working and doing, taking a day of rest, that's keeping the Sabbath.
That's keeping the Sabbath. And I'm saying this too. Look, I want to be careful. I'm not against the lighting of candles. I'm not coming out against it and saying it's wrong. I'm just not going to say to somebody, you better light candles or you're not pleasing God.
Right.
In other words, it's not a sin if you don't light the candle. It's a great thing to do. It's a beautiful thing to do. It's a wonderful thing to do. All that aside, what I'm saying is we have inherited, when we came into this, there was people saying, well, you've got to do this, you've got to do this, you've got to do this, you've got to do this. And that's another whole issue. But the thing is that all these things were added that were not part of this. And so I'm saying, look, what I'm about is getting back to this. Now, along the way, yes, there will be some traditions that we can do. They don't contradict with the Scriptures. They're beautiful things. For instance, here's one. You're told in Deuteronomy 8:10 that after you eat and are satisfied that you bless the Lord. Okay, so we do. Now, you can do any prayer you want to. I like Birkat Hamazon because it's a nice prayer. And it accomplishes the purpose of blessing the Lord after you eat. But you don't have to use Birkat Hamazon, but it's a wonderful prayer. And anytime you can beautify a commandment, absolutely, anything you can do something, you can beautify it, absolutely, it's great, okay. But I'm not going to tell somebody, you haven't kept Deuteronomy 8:10 if you don't do the Birkat Hamazon, that particular prayer. I think it's a great prayer. I love the prayer, and we use it. Okay, we'll incorporate it, but it's not the definitive way that you have to do it. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
In many cases, when we get too involved in tradition, we quench the spirit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
potential is definitely there.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's just being putting the vanguard to say, you know what? It's again, the traditions are at times beautiful, wonderful, have a place and can help us. In fact, I'm all for some traditions that actually help us keep a commandment. If it facilitates the keeping of a commandment, that's great. And 1, 2, and 3, we'll get but
when I was in Connecticut with a lot of people who've been raised traditional Judaism and then found Messianic, I can remember on Shabbat, people were just freaking out if they didn't get the candles lit 12 minutes before sundown and on Havdalah 18 minutes after. And it all became about the ritual and not about what that was about. And then, many discussions in our Shabbat about how liberating it is to not have to be bound to 12 minutes before sundown.
right.
But people were literally in terror that Rabbi was going to find out that they were late with the candles.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, Yeshua's conflicts with the Pharisees were in fact dealing with traditions. In fact, one of the scriptures that some of our Gentile brothers and sisters use about eating anything you want is when Yeshua said, it's not what enters the mouth that defiles, it's what comes out. And he's talking about, you guys are washing your hands on tradition, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing to wash your hands. But it's not a mitzvah, it's not a commandment. Why are you browbeating my followers because they didn't wash their hands in time to eat their grains of grain? So a tradition, he fought against that, and that's the biggest thing that when it causes a stumbling block.
Yeah.
You're talking about prayer and tradition. I don't fully understand. What are we doing when we bless the bread and the wine at the end?
Oh, that's a tradition. That's a tradition that it has nothing to do. That's a blessing before. It has nothing to do with any kind of commandment that says thou shalt. You have to give what.
We're not blessing the juice and the wine. We're blessing God for providing.
True. So it's tradition. It's not it's not communion. Okay. I know some people thought, well, we're doing communion. I'm not doing communion. It was a tradition in Judaism to do for the meal, at any meal, it was tradition to have wine and bread. In fact, in those of you that know, two of the biggest foods or kind of food groups going through Europe, and whether Ashkenazic or Sephardic, cheese and wine. Anytime you have cheese and wine and bread. Oh yeah, the bread's a given. Bread's a given, but you gotta have cheese and wine, and bread and cheese. For this reason, you have rabbinic Orthodox dictums that say Gentiles cannot be a part of the process of cheese making or of wine making. Okay, so it was really, really funny. Not funny, haha, but funny, ironic. I had Gershon Ferenczi here. I see Gershon every time I'm back in Israel. We hug and we hang out, and it's all great. And Gershon, when he was here, said, "Hey," he's telling everybody, "Come to my winery. Come to my winery." And so I thought, well, that's cool. I'll come to his winery, which I did. So we go to his winery, and then he tells us, "Don't touch anything. If you touch anything, my rabbinic buddies, not that I don't like you guys, but if you touch anything, you mess up the whole process. You've Gentilized this, and I won't be able to sell this to anybody because Gentiles can have any part of the process of winemaking. Because here's the concern. The concern is that a Gentile would use this wine as a libation offering. We would pour it out to a foreign god, and then that would make the whole batch of wine of no value. Okay, so this is the kind of. So we were very polite. So no, we understand. I already kind of knew. I was just acting pressing to see what he would do. I kind of figured, and I can show you the process. I can show it to you, but just don't touch it. This is the kind of, and this comes from the rabbinic thing of no cheese can be, no cheese and no wine. Gentiles cannot be part of the process until it's sealed. Once it's sealed and packaged, then they can be part of the process. Once we know they can't destroy it or do something.
Why not
crazy.
bread? Why not bread? What's the difference between bread? Because
I don't know. But cheese and wine, for sure. So I'm just saying this is the kind of thing that